This house is not for you. It's time for the next generation, my husband said coldly. I blinked in disbelief as he continued, That's why I sold this house to my eldest son and his wife. His wife chimed in smugly, That's right. Give us the house and get the hell out. My husband smirked. My daughter-in-law followed up with cruel glee, Get out of this house, old woman. They all looked like strangers to me, cold, heartless, and greedy. Hey, were you listening? This house is no longer yours, my son barked. Pack your things quickly. If not, my father will be even more furious. Everything he said pierced my heart like a blade. So, this is what they wanted all along. My home? My sanctuary? But I stayed calm and said, All right, I'll leave, just as you wish. The room went silent. They were stunned. I didn't resist. But I turned around, walked inside, and began gathering my things. You can have this house, I whispered under my breath, but you have no idea what kind of trouble lies ahead and you won't see it coming. Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm now a kimono dressing instructor. It all started when a friend introduced me to a job at a kimono shop when I was 20. That's where I met Carter, my future husband, through mutual friends. He was already a well-known kimono instructor. We married at 24 and had our first son a year later. 3 years after that, our second son was born. Our younger son thrived. He graduated from university, got a prestigious job at a major corporation, and married a lovely woman. The older one? Not so much. He didn't marry until he was 40, and even now, he remains immature and self-centered. His wife is the breadwinner, while he lounges at home pretending to be a homemaker. I once thought, now that our sons are grown, we'll finally enjoy our life together. I couldn't have been more wrong. My husband, Carter, started becoming increasingly difficult. Hey, who told you to prepare this? He'd snap. How many times do I have to tell you? I want coffee in the morning, not green tea. I gently replied, but green tea is better for your health. I said coffee. Don't you understand? He yelled often. Anger came easily to him. Sometimes, I'd sit quietly and wonder how much easier life would be if I could just say, I don't want to live like this anymore. For 40 years, I silently endured. Why? Because I had my reasons. I was the one earning money when he was unemployed. I saved up every yen to build our dream house. This house wasn't his, it was mine. And I couldn't bear to walk away and let him keep it. I poured my soul into designing every detail. I worked closely with contractors on the layout, the materials, even the garden. It wasn't cheap. In fact, I ended up taking on a much bigger mortgage than I'd planned. But it was worth it for my dream. One day, while lost in thought, the intercom buzzed. Ding dong. Yes, just a moment, I said. On the screen stood Emily, my eldest son Caden's wife. She worked hard to support the family, unlike lazy Caden. At first glance, Emily looked polite. But underneath that smile was something much darker, aggression and entitlement. Is Caden with you today? I asked. She ignored me as always. Oh, Emily-san, welcome to my home. Please come in. She stepped in and looked around with wide eyes. Wow, this is your new home? Incredible. Thank you. I smiled politely. You know, I wish I could live in a house like this, she said, her eyes scanning every corner. Before I could reply, Carter, my husband, interrupted. Well, why not? You can live here. In fact, from today, consider this your home. Emily's eyes lit up. I watched in silence, disgust growing in my chest. How long had they been planning this? She began behaving like a spoiled daughter around him. Clingy, manipulative. Then Carter snapped at me, Go prepare tea and snacks. Don't be rude to Emily-chan. I obeyed and returned with refreshments. Emily ate in silence. No, thank you. No, itadakimasu. Nothing. After finishing, she stood and said, I'm going back to my husband now, and left. Why did she come here? Just to flaunt her power? Ever since she started visiting more frequently, I've had nothing but stress. But gradually she began visiting more frequently, first twice a week, then almost daily. And she always came when I wasn't home. I couldn't figure out why she kept coming around so often, and the question lingered in my mind. One day, I received a phone call. Hello, Mom. It's been a while. How have you been? Harry. Of course, I'm fine. Yes, it's been a long time. It was Harry, my second son. Unlike my older son, Harry is hardworking, responsible, and deeply devoted to his family. I'm truly proud of him. He's been busy with work lately, so I haven't seen him much, but he calls me from time to time. How are things going? How's the new house? He asked. It's very comfortable, but I do have a bit of a problem. Is it about Emily? How do you know? I asked, surprised. I don't have much time, so I'll explain it briefly, he said. What he told me next was hard to believe, but it made sense. Apparently, he had overheard it from his older brother during a drunken conversation. I went quiet. Are you okay? Harry asked, concerned. I'm fine. Thank you for telling me. That was a very helpful story. Actually, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I need a favor. I had made up my mind. I was going to take action, and I needed Harry's help to do it. From the very next day, I began working on it. Quietly, after work and on my days off, I made sure no one noticed what I was doing. A few days later, hello. I greeted her coldly when she walked in, as if she owned the place. It's unusual for you to come here when I'm home. But as usual, she didn't respond. She took off her shoes at the entrance and walked into the house without saying a word. I glared at her silently, and just then, I heard another voice. Oh wow, this is a really nice house. It was Caden, my eldest son. What a surprise. Like his wife, he walked in without greeting me and made himself at home. Then, my husband emerged from the living room as if he'd been expecting them. I've been waiting. Come this way. The three of them moved into the living room without even acknowledging my presence. From the open kitchen, I could clearly see them. This kitchen is wonderful, my husband said. I'd love to see Emily cooking in here. The bathroom and toilet are next, he added. I could hear his voice coming from deeper in the house. He was giving them a full tour. After showing them the first floor, he said, this way, and led them upstairs.
Harry was right.
I quietly followed and overheard suspicious remarks from the bedroom. This room has a nice view. It's big enough, right? Of course. There's a toilet on this floor and even an extra room. Wow, this house is fantastic. When can we move in? I had been skeptical before, but hearing those words confirmed it. The three of them returned to the living room, beaming with excitement after their little inspection. As soon as they sat down, my husband snapped at me. What are you doing? That's very rude. Bring some tea and snacks. Don't just stand there. It's okay, Daddy, Emily chimed in. We care about the elderly, so take it easy. I agree, Caden said mockingly. It's normal to slow down with age. You should be nicer to her, you know, you are married after all. I had so much I wanted to say, but I held my tongue.
For now.
I prepared the tea and snacks, just as they asked, but none of them said a word of thanks. My husband looked displeased, and my son and his wife were too preoccupied laughing and chatting in front of me. They didn't realize what I was planning, what I was dreaming. They had no idea. A few days later, I returned home from work and saw a moving truck parked in front of the house. My husband was standing beside it, speaking with someone. As I got closer, I saw the label on the side of the truck. Scott's Moving Center. I stopped in my tracks. So, it's finally happening. I glanced at him for a moment before he turned and headed inside, followed by one of the movers. After we moved into our beautiful new home, I noticed my eldest son's wife, Emily, started visiting frequently. At first, it was harmless, just a few casual drop-ins. But after 3 months, her visits became almost daily and always when I wasn't home. I couldn't figure out why. That question lingered in my mind until one day, I got a call. Hello, Mom. It's been a while. How have you been? Harry.
Of course I'm fine.
Yes, it's been a long time. It was my second son, Harry. Unlike his older brother, Harry is hardworking, responsible, and deeply cares for his family. We don't see each other often because of his work, but he calls whenever he can. How's the new house? He asked. It's comfortable, I replied, but there's something troubling me. Is it about Emily? He asked. I froze. How did you know? He sighed. I don't have much time, so I'll explain briefly. I heard it from my brother when he was drunk. Something you need to know. It was hard to believe, but it explained so much. I sat there stunned. Are you okay? He asked gently. I'm fine, I replied. And thank you. I've been thinking about this for a while, but now I need your help. The next day, I began my quiet preparations after work and on weekends, so no one would notice. A few days later, it happened. Hello, I greeted coolly when Emily showed up again uninvited. It's unusual for you to visit when I'm actually home. She didn't say a word, just removed her shoes and walked inside like she owned the place. And then another voice rang out. Oh wow, this is a really nice house. It was Caden, my eldest son. He, too, entered without acknowledging me. Seconds later, my husband emerged from the living room, clearly expecting them. I've been waiting.
Come this way.
They acted like I didn't even exist. From the open kitchen, I could hear everything, him proudly showing them around. This kitchen will be perfect for Emily, he said. Let me show you the bathroom and the second floor. I followed quietly, my suspicion growing with every word. In the bedroom, I heard my husband say, This room has a great view. Spacious, too. And there's another guest room next door. Emily responded, Wow, fantastic. When can we move in? My doubts turned to certainty. After they finished touring, they returned to the living room, glowing with excitement. My husband turned to me with a scowl. What are you doing just standing there? Be polite. Bring us some tea and snacks. Caden added smugly, It's okay, Dad. We care about the elderly. Take it easy, Mom. Emily chimed in, Yeah, people slow down with age. Be nicer to her. You are still married after all. I bit my tongue and served them, observing their smug faces, their joy as they eyed every inch of the home I built. They had no idea what I had planned. Days later, I returned home from work to find a moving truck parked out front. Scott's Moving Center, it read. My husband stood beside it, chatting casually. I approached. Inside the house, movers were already working. And behind them, Caden and Emily. They didn't even glance at me. As they exited, all three turned and looked at me with sinister smiles. My husband approached. I need to talk to you. Don't say anything. Just answer yes. You don't have the right to refuse. Caden and Emily stood smirking beside him. You're too old for this house, he said. It's time for the younger generation. I've sold it to our son and his wife. That's right, Emily added. Get out quickly. My husband called me an old woman. Emily mocked me. Caden stood by in silence, complicit. They were like monsters, soulless. Did you hear me? My husband barked. This house is no longer yours. Leave now, or I'll get angry. Fine, I thought. If they want the house so badly, let them have it. Okay, I said calmly. I'll leave as you wish. Their grins froze. I walked inside to gather my things. You can have this house, I said quietly. But you have no idea what's coming for you. You'll be the ones who regret it. As I left with my bags, their expressions changed. They looked almost uneasy. But this was just the beginning. I headed straight to Harry's house, my second son. When I arrived, he greeted me warmly. I've been waiting for you, Mom. I'm sorry you went through that. Let me help you. We carried my luggage inside. Then Harry said something that shook me to my core. There's something I haven't told you yet. Dad and Emily are having an affair. What? Harry showed me undeniable proof, photos of them together. Intimate. Inappropriate. It started shortly after the house was built, he explained. I believe Dad will ask for a divorce soon. You need to be prepared. I nodded. I already have a plan. A few days later, just as Harry predicted, I received a call. I've decided to divorce you. Sign the papers today. Sure, I replied. I'll be there soon. When I arrived, my husband shoved the papers into my hands, eager, arrogant. I signed without a word. He rushed off to file them, grinning like he'd won. But the real game had only just begun. As a result, I was legally granted a divorce from my husband. We agreed to meet with a divorce lawyer later to finalize the division of property, so our conversation ended there. When I returned home, I told my second son about the divorce. He simply said, "Well, now all we can do is relax and wait." 2 months passed since I left that so-called new house. Then one day, I received a phone call from my eldest son. "I didn't know the monthly mortgage payment is 180,000 yen, he panicked. I calmly responded, "That's because I was the one who paid it every month. I'm no longer there, so naturally, the debt transfers to you now." But he wasn't listening. All he could say was, "Please do something. You're old. You have to help me." That was the last straw. I said, "Take care of yourself." Then I hung up and deleted his number from my phone. My second son, who had been standing nearby, burst out laughing. His laugh was so infectious, I started laughing too. But the next day, things got even more ridiculous. When I came home from work, I found all three of them, my ex-husband, my eldest son, and his wife, kneeling on the floor of my second son's living room, begging, "Please lend us some money. We can't survive without help. Harry, please help us." They were desperate. I let out a long sigh. That's when my ex-husband finally noticed me standing there. "What are you doing here?" he snapped. I replied coldly, "I've been living with Harry and his family since I left the house. You didn't know? Not that it's any of your business." He got furious but then changed the subject. "That's not important. When can I get my share of the property?" Oh, he really didn't know anything. "We don't have any property to divide," I said.
What?
"Of course we do. We got divorced. Aren't we supposed to split the assets?" I shook my head. "Only if there are assets. But you've been unemployed for years. I paid all the living expenses and the entire mortgage on the new house. You never saved a dime because you spent everything on yourself." That hit him hard. He looked stunned. I gave him the final blow. "And, by the way, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. I'm filing for alimony." Alimony," he stuttered, visibly shaken.
Yes.
"You cheated on me with Emily. I know everything." My second son pulled out his phone and showed him the photos. The evidence was undeniable. My ex-husband went pale and collapsed onto the floor. Emily, his precious daughter-in-law, burst into tears the moment she saw the pictures. My eldest son stood frozen, trembling with rage, glaring at both of them. Emily cried even harder. My ex-husband just sat there, stunned. It was pathetic, and honestly a little funny. Harry and his wife stared in disbelief at the train wreck happening in their living room. Eventually, Harry had had enough. He threw them out of the house and called the police, reporting a disturbance. Within 10 minutes, the police arrived. My eldest son, who had started getting aggressive, was arrested. Emily, who was still crying and mumbling nonsense, was also taken in. And my ex-husband, completely dazed, was escorted away too. All three were taken to the station. Afterward, they were released and moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment with barely enough room for 6 tatami mats. But the chaos didn't stop there. After learning the full truth of the affair, my eldest son spiraled. He became verbally abusive toward both his wife and father. My ex-husband, overwhelmed by guilt and stress, developed severe mental health issues and was no longer able to work. Emily now works long hours from early morning till late at night, supporting both her emotionally broken husband and my ex-husband. And yes, she's also paying me alimony. Oh, and the new house? They had to sell it. Turns out they couldn't keep up with the monthly mortgage payments after all. As for me, I cut ties with those three permanently. I will never see them again. Since then, my kimono dressing business has grown. I now run my own store, and I'm preparing to build a new home of my own. This time, I plan to invite Harry and his wife to live with me. And next time, for sure, the three of us will live happily together as a real family. Please feel free to comment below if you like this. Remember to like and subscribers for more.